Okay, so I didn't do a very good job. This should say 0 right here. That should be a 0. So fix that. Yeah. So if I plug in x and y, so I'm going to replace on the first equation, I'm going to have the equation y equals 6x plus 5. I'm going to replace my y value with 5. I'm going to replace my x value with 0. And I want to see if it actually works. So I get 5 equals 0 plus 5. 5 does equal 5. So yay, hooray, that one works. Now don't just assume that the second one works. So if I plug this one in, I have y equals negative x plus 5. I'm going to replace the y with 5. I'm going to replace the x with 0. Oops, I should have made that this color, sorry. Plus 5. Look at that, 5 equals 5. Voila, yes, it is a solution. This one, I'm going to plug in x is 5, y is 3. So I'm going to take my first equation. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I want a different color. Do blue. Y equals negative 5x plus 2. I'm going to replace my y value with 3. I am going to replace my x value with 5. And I get 3. Does this equal? Does this equal? Negative 25 plus 2. That would be 3 does not equal negative 23. So we don't even have to do the second equation. We already know, no, it is not a solution. Now make sure you don't say no solution because that means something different. So then we're going to come over to this one. This is my x value. This is my y value. I'm going to go to my first equation. I'm going to plug in negative 5 for my y value. I'm going to plug in negative 1 for my x value. Oh, do they equal each other? Negative 5, does that equal 4 minus 9? Negative 5 does equal negative 5, so it does work for that one. Don't always assume that the other one works, so we're going to plug it in. So I have y, no I do not. I have 2x minus 3y equals negative 7. So I have 2. I'm going to replace the x with negative 1. I have y, and I'm going to replace that with negative 5. Does that equal negative 7? So I do the equation. This would get me negative 2. That would give me plus 15. Does that equal negative 7? 13 does not equal negative 7. So no, it is not a solution. Okay, so this next part, the lines are parallel. Since the lines are parallel, that means it's no solution. They run into each other one time, so that's one solution. That's one line, so that's infinite solutions. If they have the same slope but different y-intercept, that means it's going to be parallel line, so it's no solution. Same slope, same y-intercept, it's the exact same line, so it's infinite solutions. And immediately, if they have different solutions, it is one solution. Okay, down here, it says to graph. So I need to graph this. So I'm going to look at this. It says negative 3x plus y equals negative 2. I need to get the y by itself, so I add 3x to both sides of the equal sign. Y equals 3x minus 2. My slope is 3, or 3 over 1. My y-intercept is negative 2. So I'm going to come down here to negative 2, and I'm going to put that. And then it's 3. So I go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. 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 And draw a line. Now this next one, I have a slope of 3. I have a y-intercept of negative 2. They're the exact same thing. Look at this, exact same thing. They're the same line, so it's infinite number of solutions, infinite solutions, or infinitely many solutions. This next one, it already tells me from my first one, it tells me my slope is equal to 2, or 2 over 1. My y-intercept is negative 8. I'm going to come down here to negative 8. And I'm going to go up to 1, 2 over 1. 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 Over 1, 1, 2 over 1. Then I'm going to go to my second one. Oh, it's not solved for y yet, so I need to solve it for y first. So I subtract x from both sides. I get negative y equals negative x plus 7. Divide everything by negative 1. And get y equals x minus 7. My slope is equal to 1. My y-intercept is negative 7. So I go to negative 7, which is right here. My slope is 1, so I go up 1 over 1. Look at that. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Okay, draw a line. Right there. They run into each other at 1, negative 6. So that is my solution. Okay. Then I'm going to go to my next one, right here. Again, this is not solved for y. So first thing I need to do is solve it for y. 2y equals negative x plus 4. Divide everything by 2. And get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. So my slope is negative 1/2. My y-intercept is 2. So y-intercept is 2. Down 1 to the right, 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 and there we go. Then my other equation. My slope is negative 1/2. Look at that, they both have the same slope, but the y-intercept is different. Down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. Look at that. We have parallel lines. So since they're parallel lines, the answer to this is no solution. Okay, so then we look at this next one. The first one, the slope is equal to 3, or 3 over 1. Y-intercept is negative 3. So I come down here to negative 3. I have a slope of 3. So I go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. 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 Okay. Could have gone down 3. 1, 2, 3 over 1 also. 1, 2 over 1. Okay. Then my other one. My other one says that my slope is 3 over 2, has nothing added, so that means that it goes through 0, 0. It is a proportional relationship. I'm going to go up 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3 over 2. Look at that. They ran into each other. 1, 2, 3 over 2. And voila. The point where they ran into each other is 2, 3. So the answer to this one is 2, 3. I'm doing the best I can. There we go. Okay, next. I have x minus 3y equals negative 6. I need to subtract x from both sides. Negative 3y equals negative x minus 6. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. So my slope is 1/3, sorry. And I have the point 0.02. So would I go to 0.2? 1/3, so I go up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. Or I could have gone down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3. There we go. And then the other line, the slope is equal to negative 1/3, and the point is 2. So I go to 2, down 1 over 3. They've already run into each other, so I just need to draw the line. So the point where they ran into each other is at the y-intercept at 2, 0.2. Okay, so this next one, remember, if I have y equals, I have a horizontal line. So I go to when x or y is equal to 8, which is right here, and I draw a horizontal line. Then this is a vertical line. So I go to when x is negative 3, and I draw a line. The point where they run into each other is the point negative 3, 8. Okay, substitution. This right here is what x equals. I'm going to plug x in right there. So there's a negative sign. Oops, I'm going to write that in blue. There's a negative sign already on the outside of that. I'm going to replace that with the x with 8 plus 5y. Okay, then I have plus 7y equals negative 2. I distribute. Remember, there's an invisible 1 right there. So negative 8 minus 5y plus 7y equals negative 2. These two are like terms, so I need to add those two. Well, really subtract. Combine them, I should say. Plus 2y equals negative 2. Add 8 to both sides of the equal sign and get 2y equals 6. Divide by 2 on both sides, get y equals 3. Okay, so I've got my y value. Now I need to find my x value. I'm going to take the first equation, which is x plus 8 plus 5y. Try that again. I didn't even write the equation down right. X equals 8 plus 5y. So I'm going to replace my y with 3. Where'd I get that? Right there. So x equals 8 plus 15. So I get 23 for my x value. So 23. Okay, so this next one, they both say y equals. So you just set them equal. You set the expressions equal to each other. 5x plus 9 equals minus x plus our negative x plus 9. I like to have the positive coefficient, so I'm going to add x to the other side. I get 6x plus 9 equals 9. I subtract 9 from both sides. I get 6x equals 0. I divide by 6. 0 divided by anything is 0. Wow. Yeah. So my x value is 0. My y value, it doesn't matter which one you plug it into. I don't care. I'm just going to plug it into the first one. I would get y equals 0 plus 9, so y equals 9. And that was the y-intercept, so you didn't actually have to do that part. This one right here, this is what y equals. I'm going to take what y equals, and I'm going to plug it in for this y. So I write down the 6x, I write down the plus, I write down the 2, I replace the y with negative 3x plus 5 equals 10. 6x, I take this and I multiply it through. I get negative 6x plus 10 equals 10. These two right here become 0. So I have 10 equals 10. So this is infinite number of solutions, or infinitely many solutions. This next one. Okay, so this one, we don't have anything by itself. Now, personally, I would pick to solve for this x right here. Why? Because it has a coefficient of 1. Could you do the y instead? Yes, but just remember you have to divide by a negative 1. So I'm going to do x minus y equals 3. I'm going to add y to both sides and get x equals y plus 3. I am going to take this right here and I'm going to plug it in for this x right there. So I have negative 6. I'm replacing the x with y plus 3 plus 5y equals negative 9. I'm going to solve this. I multiply, I get negative 6y. Multiply, negative 18. Plus 5y equals negative 9. This and this combine to get negative y minus 18 equals negative 9. I add 18 to both sides. I get negative y equals 9. Divide by negative 1, and I get y equals negative 9. Okay, so up here, negative 9 is my y value. I'm going to plug it back into the first equation. So x minus y equals 3. I'm going to replace x minus a negative 9 equals 3. X plus 9 equals 3. I subtract 9. X equals negative 6. Okay. Again, number 20, if I look at it, right now, I would solve for this y right here. Why? Because it has a coefficient of 1. So 6x plus y equals 14. I would subtract 6x from both sides, get y equals negative 6x plus 14. I would take this and plug it in for the y. I write down the negative 10x minus 2. I replace the y with negative 6x plus 14 equals negative 20. All I've done is replace the y with what y equals. Negative 10x, remember to multiply by negative 2. I would get plus 12x. Multiply by negative 2, get negative 28 equals negative 20. I combine like terms and I get 2x minus 28 equals negative 20. Add 28 to both sides. Get 2x equals 8. Divide by 2, get x equals 4. So my x value is 4. Now I have to find my y value. I'm going to plug it into the first equation. 6x plus y equals 14. I'm going to replace x with 4. So 6 times 4 plus y equals 14. 24 plus y equals 14. I subtract 24 from both sides, and I get y equals negative 10. And that's my answer. This next one, I'm going to take what x equals, and I'm going to plug it in for the x. So I have negative 2. I'm going to replace the x with negative 2y plus 3 minus 4y equals negative 6. I get 4y minus 6 minus 4y equals negative 6. Those two cancel out. I get negative 6 equals negative 6. Infinite solutions, or infinite number of solutions. And then last but certainly not least, you just decide which one you want to solve for. I'm looking at it like, if I look at this 3, if I was to divide by 3, all of these are divisible by 3. So I could solve for that x. If I look at the second one, that one's divisible by 4, that one's divisible by 4, that one's divisible by 4. So I could solve for either the x or the y on the second one. It doesn't matter which one you decide. I'm just going to pick the first one. Why? Because I don't know. So I'm going to add 9y to both sides, get 3x equals 9y plus 18. I'm going to divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3, get x, that was horrible, x equals, 3y plus 6. So that's what x equals. So I'm going to take what x equals, and I'm going to plug it in right there. So I write down the 4. I replace the x with 3y plus 6 minus 4y equals 16. So all I've done is rewrite the equation, just replacing the x with what it equals. Multiply, I get 12y plus 24 minus 4y equals 16. Combine like terms, and I get 8y plus 24 equals 16. Subtract 24, subtract 24. 8y equals negative 8. Divide by 8, divide by 8, and get y equals negative 1. So I now have my y value. I need to find my x value. It doesn't matter which one you plug it into. I'm just going to plug it into the first one to plug it into the first one. Doesn't matter. So 3x minus 9 times negative 1 equals 18. Negative times a negative is a positive. I subtract 9 from both sides. I get 3x equals 9. Divide by 3 on both sides and get x equals 3. And there you have it.